We're gonna be going with my most overstable, my newest Nuke. Really beefy, so it's been pretty good for forehand so far in learning it. But yeah, gonna look to push this thing to that low ceiling. Let's get back up towards the hill. That's it. I mean, that was 6 inches high. 6 inches high. All right, unfortunate limb hit right here. Kicked it straight down in the fairway. Probably 140 left. One interesting thing, I've always thrown a zone, but ever since the Swarm came out, especially this ESP one, I've had a Z I didn't really care for too much, but this one, I've trusted it more from my touchy forehand approaches than this zone. So that's been a new development in the game. I've really enjoyed it, but I'm gonna keep running with it. It seems to be a more consistent play. On one. All right, hole 2. 447 on the sign here. Playing probably 410, 420. It's down this hill, down the road, kind of curves back off the left of it. Of course, road and right is OB, but it's kind of in this cluster of trees. So I can throw a pretty wide hyzer. I think I'm gonna go with a neutral Nuke, put it on hyzer, get it to flat, and then let it finish to the left in that cluster of trees. So let's see if we can get it knocked down. This is the more neutral Z Nuke. Again, just put it out on hyzer and seeing if we can get it to pop up and not roll all the way over. It kind of spiked in the ground. It didn't really skip into those trees, but I'm interested to see distance-wise if that got pinned high or not. Pretty good move on it. So yeah, that spike definitely cost me. If that would have skipped, it would have been probably parked, but I got about a 30-footer or so down this hill. So almost pin high. I definitely threw the shot that I wanted to, just didn't get the groundwork we hoped for. There we go. Come on now. Come on now. Let's get it. All right, so hole 3 here. Par 4, plays 566. This is the first hole that's different from the blue layout, so I'm playing a little blind here. I saw the basket when I played through earlier, but I think it's calling for an over-the-shot play. Really get this Nuke to get on Annie and hold it and get a full turn. So there's a pretty good open area to land this shot out there, and I think closer to the hole is better here. Get past it. It's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. That's about all I got. Okay. Well, ignorance is bliss a little bit here, because had I known my max distance would have been this close to being OB, this is over the last bit of the OB, I definitely wouldn't have thrown the shot that I did. I would have played more of a turnover with a fairway into this shorter fairway. But nonetheless, yeah, we'll take that. Jump putt up on a par 4, never a bad thing. Tap in birdie. Okay, hole 4 here. Another par 4. That's distance from the blues, par 3. Sorry, there's boats out on the water out here. I don't have a mic. Need to get one. Anyway, this par 4, it plays just a really tight fairway here, and then it's, I mean, no kidding, 100 feet up a hill as your approach shot. So really, you're trying to get to the base of this hill, or at least an angle where you can throw up the hill for your second shot. Otherwise, you're just looking to play for par. So I'm gonna just throw buzz because I know I can throw it straight. And I'm gonna try to get it as far enough down that fairway as I can. Really trying to push to the left side of the fairway so I can have more of an open look up this hill. It moves to the right. Whew. All right, little hyzer flip here. I mean, it's still not, it's way short, but that was the early of all early releases. Yikes. So one of the biggest learning curves that I've had to come to figure out since I've started playing again is whenever I'm out of position to forget birdie as an option. It's just one hole out of 18. So if I can just understand, I need to make a par here, it changes the mindset for the second shot so much, where normally I'm probably trying to throw this machete flex to skip up the hill and have a 50-foot look to make a three, but truthfully it's like that's a low percentage play to even think about getting a three out at this point. After a drive that misses the gap entirely, gets lucky, still stays in the fairway, I really don't have a good look at a birdie. So I'm gonna play a flex swarm, again, throwing it about halfway up this hill and then have about 100 feet up and make this four and move on, because I've already gotten lucky. I don't need to have to take luck again into consideration. Yeah, that's just about exactly what I was wanting to do. So there is like no way to describe how uphill this is on camera. It's one of those where it's definitely deceiving on the lens as compared to where I'm standing. But yeah, I can't jump putt this far. And I feel like I'm probably, if I was on even ground, I'm like 70 feet, it seems like. This probably plays 140 though, and I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to pitch up again and get this four. Off the pole, there we go. All right, hole 5. Now 2 under through 4, and which is, I mean, I've heard this is a really tough course, so getting a couple of early strokes is a pretty good confidence builder. This hole is completely blind. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but it's a 507 par 4, kind of the S turns to the left, pretty narrow fairway, and then finishes going back to the right along the water down here. I'm gonna look to get a placement play out here in this fairway. I'm gonna go Buzz OS and just kind of push this first initial gap and just try to move left to get a forehand approach for this green. Get left. Kind of got hung up, but it's okay. Okay, so these 5 or so trees here in the middle, it's a really good part of this fairway. It forces you to either push this tee shot to the left more to have an open shot at the green, because this goes down and then onto the right another 80 or so feet. But there is also an outside, I can kind of flex around this. So I think I'm going to flex around these trees with this PD2 and hopefully S back in just the right amount of time to hook up and get to that green. So let's see if we can get there. Out of it. That'll be a par. That'll be a par. Okay. Like I said, it's just a pitch up for par here. There's really no benefit of running it. The grass is tall, so I'm just gonna throw yet another swarm approach shot just kind of around this edge and hopefully tap in this 4. Yep, that'll do. A little different line than I thought I was going to have. It's kind of pinched off from the outside line, so a little tight gap shot. Good scrambling. Okay, so hole number 6 here, saying 615. Go down this levee all the way, and then there's you have to go to the left. I'm assuming if I can get 400 off the tee, I'll have, it's probably 230 when you account for the angle in there. So not really trying to do too much off the tee. In fact, I'm gonna go more overstable than I had initially and go PD2, no, excuse me. We're trusting the new overstable nuke here. And I'm just gonna put it flat over the water and get the crash back. If it gets on top of the levee, great. If it goes down to the bottom side, so be it. But trying to push this thing about 400 or so. Yeah, so that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Might not be quite 400, but that's good. All right, so I'd love to throw this up shot, but there's 3 cars within circle 1 and one like 10 feet behind the basket. So I'd love the birdie opportunity, but I'm just gonna write down par and move on to the next. So, okay, hole 7. So still 2 under. Then after that, yeah, that car is like 10 feet. Oh well. Anyway, this is probably the hole I was looking forward to the most. Just on UDisc before I got here, 1,041 feet. OB both sides of the fairway, road, and then water. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. So I'm gonna go with, again, the same shot pretty much as the last hole. Just try to get something out there in placement, about 400 out there, and then we'll kind of figure out what to do, laying up or going for anything. Definitely laying up. That sounded so egotistical to say going for it. Yeah, so shot, up shot, birdie, hope. All right, so car came by. Anyway, gonna go nuke here. Tailwind's a little concerning because it is pretty tight up here. I'm just gonna try to push something low that's gonna stay in there. Get down, get down, get down. That's not a good way to start the hole. That's OB. All right, so I've got no business going for this green. It is at least 600 feet away. Probably 550 to 600. If there was no water, I just ripped it as far as I could, but already kind of being behind. Throw my third shot here now. So if I can get something that's I can approach and save par here, that's a big win. So I'm gonna go wide of these people, obviously, and then try to land this Raptor in the bounds. That's safely aboard. All right, so back in position here, and yeah, I think it's probably gonna be whatever this T sign is, 350 or so. So I'm just gonna throw another hyzer at it and hopefully be able to save this par. Get down, get down, get down. A lot left to be desired there. Yeah, that is no doubt the most disappointing shot of the round so far. That was worse than the OB shot. Okay, so now I've got to go around or any around the tree here. About 45 feet, 50 feet or so. So yeah, I messed myself up here. I'm gonna go around the right side. Golly. That's a really, really sad bogey. Okay, back to 1 under after that really, really sloppy bogey. Hole 8 here is 438 playing downhill. So kind of a really fat peninsula, but you know, water's tight on short and right of the pin. I'm gonna try to flex this nuke. I think that's the right place. This is my most overstable one again. Flex this thing out over the water and trust that it's gonna crash back in. So I think that's the best play for me here. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, not as close as I thought it was gonna be. I thought I was like inside the bullseye, but probably about 24 or 25 feet here. Tailwind off of the right, so just trying to bang this thing in. Be really good too to get. All right, that one hurt. Man, that would have been a good 2 to get. Anyway, okay, still one under. Hole number 9, 340. Kind of pick your poison. If you're going forehand, you gotta blast it forehand. If you're going backhand, stay low and get something that's overstable that'll push back up the hill. So I'm gonna go machete backhand here. Push through. It's probably gonna be short. Wasn't a good move, but got lucky. All right, probably 35 or so, just outside of C1 for the birdie here. Like I figured it'd be a little bit short, but it was right on line. That's just rude. It's just rude. I'm sure they were left, but that's rude. All right, hole 10 here, another par 5, 891. I'm gonna play, there's 2 routes. You can go either over the water to the left and stay between the water and the woods pretty tight, or just play out to this fairway again and then go over the water to your second shot. So I think I'm gonna do that because I've got plenty of arm to go over the water secondly. So I'm gonna try to throw this Onyx pretty on a flex line and just kind of fades or turns back into the hill here. Not really trying to get a ton of distance, just getting out there. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Snuck into the water again. Why do I keep going out of bounds on par 5s? Okay, so I left that drive a little high. Got to where it could stall, and then it came back and just got into the water. Fortunately, able to get it back. It was about 10 feet out there. So second shot, third shot now. Going over the water, trying to kind of match the hill and then get it up there to where I can pitch up and take a 5 this time. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. That's not a bad shot there. All right, so got over the water for my third shot. So I'm probably 70 feet short here in the woods. I'm just gonna pitch up, take a 5, considering that it was an OB stroke. 5's respectable. Oh wow, okay. All right then. Didn't mean to go that aggressive. All right, so hole number 11, 597 par 5. I'm looking to get really aggressive here after a stretch of 3 or 4 holes where I've just kind of stalled and even gone one over in the stretch. 2 OB strokes on par 5s, and I really just want to get aggressive on a par 5 here instead of the layup shots. I couldn't execute those. So in the woods, shorter par 5, really technical. I'm trying to push this ceiling and get it to turn up this hill if I can a little bit, and try to flex this nuke a good bit here. Frustrating. All right, so the result of not hitting my line, well, really not matching the slope of the hill, right? I'm about 80 to 100 feet short of where I need to be, so this becomes just a backhand pitch shot. Actually, this is now a spike hyzer out through this gap to try to get around the corner and put it in. So yeah, I'm glad I saw that. Gonna go Nuke OS and look to really throw it through the sky here and get around this corner. Because then it's an uphill shot, probably 200 feet from there. So if I get this down in the right spot, birdie's not out of the question yet. Get the line, get the line. I did it. Get left. I think it's fine. I think it's just fine. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, made it up into the left side of the rough here. Not too far. I'll be able to stand out and reach the fairway still. It's an uphill shot from here, and it'll finish to the right where the other hole 12 basket is, I think. So, yeah, I think I can get a birdie here. Can execute this shot. Hopefully you can see me. Got all the way up there. I caught the last tree and kicked down, so I'm probably gonna have a mid C2 look at this 4. So let's see where we're at. So as I thought, that last tree did block me from accessing the green. So I've got about 55, 60 feet here for the 4. Spin it in there. Man, that looked good. Look good, look good. Just didn't have the height. All right, so this is a terrible tee shot to film because once you get about 80 feet off the tee, it goes straight downhill. The blue basket's like 240 down in the middle of that hill. And then the gold is a par 4 at 600 feet, goes down the hill and then snakes around and finishes kind of a slight turn to the right. So I'm gonna throw like a light MD1 down this hill, get it to flip up, and then hopefully just kind of coast down the hill and finish just hair to the left, please. Like I'm asking you. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, I did it. Faith. That is such a fun flight right there. Fun flight. Okay, so as I feared, that tee shot was too straight. Probably should have thrown maybe my more stable buzz, but regardless, I'm just off the fairway here. The green is just down this open corridor and then it goes to the right. So there's really not a play for me to go for birdie. I can see yet. I'll take a forehand disc in there to think about the skip shot, but I'm likely just going to be pitching something out, pitching up, taking a 4. Really about all I had. Let's give it down. All right, a touchy green to access here. Same disc, Swarm. Gonna try to just flex it and it'll finish for me there. I really don't want to play around that cedar on the left side. I'm gonna try to play it through this gap. Sit down. Probably 15, 18 feet. Gotta clean that up. All right, 15, 18 feet here. Maybe 13, 15. Knock them down. Staying at 1 under. All right, hole 13, 422 on the sign, par 4, and it is really, really far uphill. So it moves to the left off the tee. I'm going to try to match it with this FD and just hit it on a lot of hyzer. And if it flips up to flat, it's fine. But ideally, it's going to stay moving to the left the whole time of this flight. So really, really unique flight for the FD, hopefully. Let's see how we can do it. Oh, it got a little bitty limb. It kicked it so far to the left. I don't know how that little limb did that. That stinks. All right, off of the fairway, uphill, run up, so I'm not gonna have really anything there. I'm gonna try to hit this little bitty gap with a forehand flex. This is gonna be a tough shot. Tough shot indeed. That advanced far enough to where par is the worst outcome. Very nice. All right, about 100 short. I'm gonna try to jump put this up there and get this 4 and get out of here. Wasn't very good. Wasn't very good. My depth perception stinks because it's just fine. I've worked so hard just to be 1 under. Okay, so finally back to one of the holes that was the same from the first round. Hole number 14 for me, 261 par 3. Just play it under these limbs. Just kind of skip it up and have a C2 look. Getting to the basket is really difficult here, but the threat of the looming natural OB on the right side, it's going to easily bring a 4 into play. So if you just pitch this out there, keep it in the short stuff, you'll have a C2 look, and you know, I made it last time. Push left, push right, push right. Okay, should be pin high. Maybe 30, 35. Good shot. All right, circle 2 look. Got a little hole through the trees here. Try to knock it down. Not quite. Yanked it right. All right, I think the name of the game on hole 15 here is to hit this one of these 2 gaps, just missing this middle tree, and push as far up and really try to get left towards the end of the flight to be able to open up and access this green that's up on the hill, I think on the right side. So 726 is what the sign says, up the hill, playing probably 850 at the end of the day. And so I'm gonna hit nuke and try to get hyzer flip to flat and then finish to the left up this hill. Really bad release, but I got away with it. All's well that ends well. Okay, probably 380 up the hill here. So I'm thinking, well, 350, playing 380, I guess. Got to go up this gap and make sure I don't hug it in too tight. So I'm gonna aim at this tree kind of on the left side of the gap I'm trying to get to, turn this stalker off of it, and try to access the green that way with this backhand. Got mud on my disc though. Here we go. Get this thing hard, flat, and get the full ceiling. Inside. Wow, okay. I got up there and then just stayed in the air and stalled out and went left. All right, so the distance that I picked is exactly right. I'm exactly pin high. But yeah, I'm about 45 feet to the left, which means I got this uphill putt that's gonna play a good bit longer. Yeah, I mean, let's try to knock this thing down. Hole number 16, 342, playing straight down this hill, really sloped down. 2 gaps to hit. First gap is harder than the second one, but the first gap kind of requires a hyzer flip to, straight to maybe a slight turn even. So I'm gonna throw a buzz. I think it's gonna match that stability pretty well. Down there, probably C2 look. Doing all right? Good. All right, hole 17, looking at a 775-foot par 4. Going through the right side of this gap down here. I'm gonna throw kind of a flip up forehand, trying to get to the top of that hill, and then I'll have hopefully somewhere in the 350 range, 350 or so, yeah, 350, 375. Let's see here. Get off of it. Okay, 500 range. Yikes. Okay, so after that really bad forehand, I need to throw another really good forehand now. So, gonna go different nuke, more stable. Get over this hill, push to the right, kind of get us a range where we can, get up and down for a par here. Get off of it. This hole's getting really hard really quick. And the hole's not hard. All right, after 2 really bad forehand shots, I've got about 375 or so left into this green to get up and down for par. Requires a pretty straight shot here. I'm not going back to forehand. So I'm looking to, I think I'm gonna throw this CD2, get to turn a little bit, and then kind of finish in this backstop of the green here. For a par. Woof. All right, I've made a mess of the hole so far, but none of that matters to make this putt. So 60, 65 feet or so right here, edge of C2. I'm knocking this thing down. So bad. All right, hole 18, here we go. 633 par 4, got to go up through the gap of this blue basket and then just push it on straight through there. Then you're challenging the water in your second shot. So just trying to push it through this flippy nuke, hyzer flip, so right through that gap and really just drive it on through there. Hit the last tree, but it got through the gap, so we're good. All right, last approach shot of the day. Got to throw forehand here, hyzer forehand into the headwind, out over the water. Trust that's gonna come back, so PD2 is what I'm gonna go with here. see one short, 25, 30. I like that shot. All right, this is the way to finish the course. It is beautiful out here. About a 40 foot, 35, 40 foot headwind putt here to finish the round off. Let's make this thing.